Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk transfers. It is time to talk Lewis Travis. It's time to talk Max Johnston. And there's so many conversations that need to be had across the course of pre-season and across the course of the start of the Championship campaign. Now, obviously, for Derby County, it's really, really important that we find ourselves in a good position this season, and that's obviously the most important thing for us. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I don't see any wingers arriving at Pride Park anytime soon. Well, we're going to get into all of that across the course of this live stream. We're probably going to be live from now up until probably the cup draw. I think that starts at about 7:20, so we're going to be live up until then. Welcome in, Derby. Welcome in, FM Frenzy. Please say we signed Travis. I would love to tell you that we've signed Travis, but right now no deal has currently been agreed and we're still sort of working on that one. Derby County stink. Welcome in, Paul. I'm glad you're here. Jumping the gun here, but would it be possible to touch on wingers? I know there is no current rumours, but would be good to look at what's available. And obviously, Grady Diangana is one of those players. And you're absolutely spot on, Ben. He definitely is one of those players available. But that is what we're going to get into. We're going to get into wingers. We're going to look at Travis. We're going to look at Max Johnston as well, because this is sort of the area that Derby County find themselves in, and it's where Derby County need the most work. Now, obviously, across the course of last season, you'll probably know that Derby County spent a lot of time in a 3-5-2 under John Eustace. Now, I'm not saying that Derby County are going to do that again, because obviously at this present moment in time, we don't really know. But what is the problem at the moment is we don't have wingers, but we've got wing backs, and that's what I think is very, very important about our situation at the current moment. You look at, obviously, players like Joe Ward, who stepped up yesterday and, in my opinion, had a fairly decent performance. You look at someone like Callum Elder yesterday, who I think was fairly decent. And for me, I think there's definitely a possibility Derby County go to 3-5-2, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Get the next Wilson. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'm thinking, personally, that Derby County's next two moves are going to be Lewis Travis and Max Johnston. We don't have anything official on either player yet in regards of getting those deals done, but we know that those deals are currently being worked on behind the scenes, and that's obviously what we've got to work with. Travis will be yours in the next couple of days. You're pretty spot on. I personally think that this deal will be done over the course of the next week maximum, but obviously that can sort of ebb and flow as the season goes on. Now, obviously, those of you who are new here, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We do daily videos talking about Derby County. Been doing live streams as well recently as well, where we've been watching along the latest games and obviously discussing transfers like now. But let's talk about Lewis Travis. So last night, after I went off from the watch along after beating West Bromwich Albion on penalties, it was reported by Blackburn Rovers' own journalists that Lewis Travis has requested to leave and he does want to join up with Derby County. Now, for me, that is obviously that is brilliant for Derby. Having a player that has turned around and said, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore, I want to go and join Derby County, I think is absolutely amazing. I think it shows the two directions the two clubs are going in. You look at Blackburn Rovers, in my opinion, they're heading backwards. Obviously, Derby County, I think long term, we're moving forwards, and hopefully these are the sort of deals that move us forward. Play Wilson as a winger, can certainly play there, but I don't necessarily think it's where he should be being played, if I'm completely honest. Still buzzing, Joe Ward thought he was Tony Cruz for 30 seconds last night. He absolutely did. And do you know something? If he can have another 30 or 40 odd seconds doing that every week, I'd be more than happy to have him doing that. It was like Cruz's free kick versus Sweden in the 2018 World Cup. It absolutely was. Hailers, can't wait to welcome Travis and Johnston to the club. They'd both be great additions. Now, obviously, the fee regarding Lewis Travis is what is going to be sort of the interesting topic of conversation, because Lewis Travis is a very, very good footballer. We all know that he's very, very good at this level, and we know that he can compete at this level. We know that he can cause problems defensively and sort of moving further forward up the pitch. I'm not going to turn around and say it's sort of a massive creative outlet, but for me, he's one of those players that is a disruptor and a dictator. He can disrupt the play and get the ball moving. I'm not saying that he's going to be a player who's spraying 30, 40 yard balls, but he is a player who can make those little short passes and get the ball moving. And for me, I have this personal opinion that the fee for Lewis Travis is going to be within the region of £3 million, all said and done. I think it's going to be something like £2 million up front, £2 million guaranteed, and then let's say another £1 million of add-ons in regards to promotion bonuses, playoffs and things like that. And I think, in my complete personal opinion, I don't think that is too expensive for Derby County. I actually think that is a really, really smart move by the club as they sort of look to move into a new direction. But obviously, as has already been spoken about in the channel already today, it's that wingers at the moment. And I think for Derby, when we're sort of looking at those wide areas and we're looking at trying to bring players in, it's really, really important that we bring in the right ones, in my personal opinion. So we're gonna have to sort of wait and see how it goes. I think we should be prioritising more wide and creative players, because right now the only true winger we have can't stay fit. You're spot on. Corey Blackett-Taylor is the only true out-and-out winger and currently cannot stay fit, but is one of those players who... we have a bunch of players who can play in those wide areas, but also all of them can play centrally as well. That's why I think we're going to make that move to 3-5-2, but obviously we'll get into that sort of later on. Lewis, saw you hit 2,600 subscribers live on stream last night. Couldn't join the live, but watch back. Congratulations. Really appreciate that, Richard. Really appreciate you stopping by today. Obviously, I know that everybody has their own shit going on. I don't expect everybody in here every day when I'm live, but really appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate the congratulations as well. Don't want players I don't want to play, so this news I like. Do you know something? That is something that Derby County need. It's players that want to play. And that's something that we haven't had at Derby for years, in my opinion. And when we did have it, I look at Max Bird. He's a player that wanted to play. You have to go back, realistically, as far back as Bradley Johnson, Tom Huddleston. That sort of era of where Derby County sort of used to want to play football. And I'm not saying that it's always the right way to go, but it's the right sort of momentum to have, to look in that direction of you want to be able to knock the ball 5 or 6 yards, move your opponents about, and then open up the gaps for your wingers to burst into, your strikers. Ajimang is going to be perfect for Derby County if we can keep the ball moving and get him off the shoulder, because that is what he's good at. But we're going to have to sort of wait and see sort of how that develops across the course of the next few weeks, especially in regards of wingers and things like that. Because obviously at the moment we have been playing that 4-2-3-1, but with the injury to Blackett-Taylor, Charles Abuka picking up an injury as well, it makes it very, very difficult for Derby County to look at that long term. You don't get cross-heavy / 40-yard pass sides in the Prem or Champ anymore. That's League One football. Coffs, Paul 1. You're spot on. But I think what we've got to sort of look at is you want players that are able to make those passes if it's on, but you also want the ability to be able to play those short passes as well. But we're sort of going to have to sort of wait and see sort of how we shape up, because for me, I know many people won't sort of like this opinion, and I've already had a lot of stick for it over the last couple of weeks anyway, but I don't think Ibu Adams will be a starter by the start of next season, in my personal opinion. I just don't think he will, based on the direction that John Eustace wants to take this football club. But obviously that's something that we've got to wait till we get everybody fit to see where it fits in. And obviously bringing in Lewis Travis, he can do the defensive duties that Ibu Adams can do. Maybe not best in the league, because that's all he can do, but definitely certainly a move which I think Lewis Travis sort of takes that position. You then obviously get on to Kane Wilson again. He can play as a winger, but then you're relying on him to be the man of the moment all the time, which is not good. I think what many people need to remember in regards to Kane Wilson is that his best attribute is picking up the ball from deep and driving at players, making players commit, which gives you more space for your other players, like your wingers, your 10s, your strikers. That's what Kane Wilson is good at. And I'm not saying that Kane Wilson can't play on the wing. I think he can. But it's definitely one of those where if he plays as that winger, we really need Max Johnston so that we can sort of move forward in that right back position, because Niambi doesn't offer that attacking outlet that we really want. And if Kane Wilson's moved forward, you're missing that, in my opinion. And to be effective as a fullback these days, you've got to be able to go forward and back, and that's what I think Max Johnston can do. Who do you think will get in round 2 of the Carabao Cup? Draw at 7:20 live on Sky Sports, hoping for an easy League 1 or League 2 team. Are they still doing the North and South type thing that they've been doing in recent years? I need to take a look. Let me just EFL Cup. Let's see if I can find North and South sections, because I think we're ball number 4, aren't we? So if it's still within North and South, let's see who we can get. So we can get Accrington, Bradford, Burnley, Doncaster, Everton, Grimsby, Leeds, Stoke, Stockport, Rotherham, Preston, Port Vale, Mansfield United, Man United, Lincoln City, Sunderland, Wigan, Wrexham, Barnsley, Fleetwood, Birmingham, Sheff United, Bolton or Sheffield Wednesday, Huddersfield or Leicester, Tranmere or Burton. That would be who we could get. I'd love a Doncaster Rovers, if I'm completely honest. I think Doncaster Rovers would be a good tie. Wouldn't mind a Port Vale. I think Darren Moore's still there. Stockport would be a good game. Grimsby would be a decent game. I want a home tie against lower opposition, if I'm completely honest. That's what I'd like. But we'll sort of have to wait and see how that shakes up. I don't think that's true. Players like Jason Knight really wanted to play for the badge, but unfortunately their time was cut early. Do you know something? I have no doubts about Jason Knight. I think he was an unbelievable player at Derby County, but he had that sort of knack for getting in the right position and making the wrong decision, if I'm completely honest. And I'm not saying that Jason Knight isn't a good player. Like, there's a reason he's got championship, Premier League and top end championship interest, and he's currently playing at Bristol City, where he's the captain. I think he scored yesterday. But I go back to when he was at Derby County, and it's that sort of getting into the final third and making the wrong pass, or getting into the final third and taking on the wrong shooting opportunity, which, don't get me wrong, it was purely to do with the fact that he was a younger player, but it's one of those that's always quite difficult. But for me, if we could get Jason Knight back, I'd absolutely take him. I think he'd slot into this team perfectly well. He'd probably take over from an Ibu Adams, because he can do both ends of the ball, which is what Derby need. Travis in the 10? No, Travis will be part of your double pivot. He'll sit with either Ozo or Adams, in my opinion. Maybe even Kenzo, depending on what John Eustace is expecting from the game. It's one of those where it's going to be dependent on whether we expect to be in possession, whether we expect to be out of possession, and things like that for me. But obviously Travis, a very, very good footballer who can have a huge impact for any team in the Championship, in my opinion. But it's one of those that we've sort of got to keep our eye on sort of as the season goes on, because if he does come into Derby County, it's those sort of central midfield positions where we obviously need to make up that sort of quality, if that makes sense. Think Ward will start right wing on Saturday. What a goal yesterday. Do you know something? Joe Ward getting 90 minutes yesterday is absolutely unbelievable. Like, Joe Ward was one of those players that when we signed him, I absolutely was buzzing about the signing. I thought it was an incredible move by Paul Warne at the time. I thought it was a move which made a hell of a lot of sense for Derby County, especially with that sort of wing-back position. But ultimately, the deal just hasn't quite worked out, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'm hoping that over the course of this season, it sounds as if John Eustace really likes him, and he said that he's done really, really well in training yesterday in the post-match. So hopefully he will be able to get that opportunity this season. But obviously there is a lot of differentiating reports coming out about him potentially moving on, and there's a lot of rumours in that situation. For me, I think he should start if he's fit to play on Saturday, because obviously you've got to look at the circumstance. Not started a game for nearly 8 months, not played 90 minutes in over a year. So it's one of those for me where you've got to be careful with him. You've got to make the right decisions. If I'm completely honest, I don't think Ward starts on Saturday. I don't think Clark will start. I don't think Ozo will start, or Vyman, if I'm completely honest. But we'll sort of wait and see, obviously, on Saturday. Obviously, it's going to be a difficult one. I might do a quick impromptu live stream at like 9 o'clock on Saturday, before obviously I head out to the game, so you guys can see what's going on. We can have a chat about predictions and team selections and things like that. So let me know if that's something that you want down in the comments. I'll chuck a poll in there actually. Early stream Saturday. Saturday Question mark, yes or no? There we go. Got a poll going in the comments right now. Chuck your votes on that. Let me know your thoughts. Honestly, I think Ibu will be sold soon unless Eustace moves him back to his rightful position. So ineffective is the 10. I don't disagree. I think he's definitely one of those players who, I'm not going to say will be moved on or has to be moved on, because I do think he has a role to play at Derby County. I do think he has a role to play in this team at the moment. But it's one of those that we've sort of got to, sort of wait and see sort of what players come in and things like that, because obviously, if you bring in a Travis, you bring in an Alex Mowat, which are the latest rumours, then you've got a difficult position to make that sort of decision, if that makes sense, in my personal opinion. But we're just going to have to wait and see how it shakes out, if I'm honest. We need a player who will run at defenders, can get a shot or good cross. Yeah, completely agree, and that's where I think Joe Ward, Kane Wilson are going to be massive for this team, especially when you get Ajimang back, especially when you look at, what's his name, Dejon Brown, if he plays up front, Charles Abuka, Patrick Ajimang, Selverson, Morris, all of them can have a huge impact, if I'm completely honest. Ward is good, but sometimes you look and can see he isn't enough, but also shows amazing glimpses. Yeah, I think we've got a lot of players like that at Derby and have done for the last few years. You've got players who can have that sort of moment of brilliance, but you've also got, at the same time, they have those moments of issues where they cause problems, and that's obviously something which John Eustace is obviously addressing as the seasons go on and things like that. Obviously, those of you who are in here, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop your vote on the poll as well about doing a early morning Saturday stream before the game obviously kicks off. Got 6 votes in there at the moment, but you can obviously let me know your thoughts. Reckon Eustace will sub himself on when times get tough. You know something? If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be John Eustace. He's definitely still got a bit in his locker, hasn't he? I think it was a few years ago where you had like Liam Rosenior, Wayne Rooney, would get involved in the training session. Shay Given stepped up at points for goalkeeper training and things like that because we didn't have enough numbers when he was keeper coach. You obviously then look at Frank Lampard. He got involved. Talking of players, honestly, I think if we sign Travis and Johnston, we've got too many players in the squad, more than 25. Yeah, you are right. If we bring in Travis and Johnston, that would put us on quite a large chunk of players, if I'm completely honest. But I do expect us to make a clear out. I'm not going to lie. I do expect a couple of players to move on in that sort of regard. And I think there's a few players like Ben Osborne. Joe Ward is one of them. Callum Elder is one that's had murmurs about going out. You've obviously got Caden Jackson, obviously Corey Blackett-Taylor, depending how long that is, could be one that ends up dropping out of the registered squad, but we'll sort of have to wait and see for that. But I do think that moves are going to happen. I think as we get closer to the deadline and deals have been made, I think more and more decisions will be made in that regard of who sort of steps up and who moves on sort of thing. But we're going to have to sort of wait and see on that one. If he brings Travis and Johnson and a winger, expect to clear out next season or a million loans. I do think there will be loans and move outs this summer, if I'm completely honest, especially if you look at the moves that are currently ongoing with regards to the transfer window. You've obviously got Travis, which would then give us, I think it's 6 midfielders that can play the pivot positions, about 9 midfielders in total. Obviously, if you then look at the right back position, you then have Wilson, Ward, Nyambi and Johnston, as well as Sanderson and Nelson, Rooney as well, who can all play in that right back position. So I do think that there will be changes throughout this transfer window, but we're sort of going to have to wait and see how that obviously progresses. What would your starting lineup be if all players were fit? I'll let you include Travis, as that's pretty much done deal. Well, it's not necessarily done deal, but I will go through it. In regards to my starting 11, and a lot of people may not potentially like this, but we'll go through it anyway. Obviously, Zetterstrom in goal. I'd go Wilson right back, 2 centre halves of Langas and Clark, left back Owen Beck, a midfield 3 of. We'll go with what we've got. I won't add Travis in. We'll go Ozo, Kenzo, and Clark as the 10. Bobby Clark. If Travis comes in, probably Travis in that spot next to Ozo, but we'll see. On the left, If fit, it would obviously be Corey Blackett-Taylor. On the right, it would obviously be Rhian Brewster. And then as the number 9, I'd go with Carlton Morris. But I do think we may end up sort of in a 3-5-2, which in that sort of same regard, if we're going to look at a 3-5-2 as well, I'd probably go, obviously, Zetterstrom in goal, Wilson right wing back, a back 3 of Rooney, Langas and Clark. Left wing back, I'd go with Owen Beck. I'd have that midfield 3 again. It would be Ozo, let's say Travis, and Clark as the 10, and then your 2 sort of strikers of Morris and Vyman, but it would probably be Morris and Ajimang once Ajimang is fully fit. Obviously, you can let me know your team down in the comments as well. How long is Kane Wilson from returning? Now, latest update was 6 weeks, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So I wouldn't expect to see him until after the first international break, but that's obviously something that could change. Obviously, we wasn't expecting to see Joe Ward or Ryan Niambi before the season started, and they both have played as well. So there's definitely an opportunity there. I think Rooney should start at right back. Love the fact he tries the diagonal pass to the winger. Yeah, Rooney is very, very good at that diag, and he's very, very good at getting on the ball and making things happen, in my opinion. He's one of those players for me that is so technically calm and technically composed that you can't really doubt what he can do for me. But there's obviously a lot of work that still needs to be done with Rooney in regards of fitness and things like that, because he's missed a lot of football across the course of the last few years, and hopefully this season is the start of him rebuilding that, in my opinion. How Caden Jackson is starting in the Championship is beyond me. Honestly, don't think he'd cut it in League 2. I think a lot of it sort of depends on the circumstance he finds himself in. It's very much sort of an interesting position with Caden Jackson, because I think he probably suits a 3-5-2 as a second striker better than he does a 4-2-3-1 as a right winger. But obviously, we're sort of going to have to wait and see how that progresses over the course of the next few weeks, because he may move on. I think we try and get some cash in from players like Alder, Ward and Jackson to help us pay for Johnston and Travis. I don't think we need to sell per se to bring players in, but we probably do need to sell in terms of that obviously situation in regards to squad registrations. Team is good on paper, but after the Stoke game there was a lot of doubts. I know we're just waiting for injuries, but I still don't like letting all games like that slip away. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Going 1-0 up as well and losing the way we lost was very, very sort of difficult to watch and difficult to take. But obviously, as Derby County fans, we've seen this all before. We've just got to give ourselves the best possible opportunity moving forward. If we pick up 4 points from this first 5 games and then have everyone fit, I don't think we've got an issue for the rest of the season. But obviously this first 4 or 5 games is going to decide whether we end up pushing for playoffs or we end up not pushing for playoffs, and that's obviously the situation we find ourselves in. Usually don't really care about injuries, and we have so many. So just got used to it, but CBT out for 6 weeks is proper gutting. It is as well, especially considering the one time he had a burst at the winger, he got an assist. So it's difficult. It is difficult to watch. What about Ibu? I've got absolutely no issues with Ibu Adams. He's just one of those players for me that I think lacks what it takes to be a top quality championship midfielder. Now, I'm not saying he isn't good at this level, but there's obviously a lot that he needs to improve on. He has gotten better since John Eustace came in, but ultimately getting better since Eustace came in isn't going to last long term, and that sort of needs to... It's sort of where he sort of needs to be moved on, in my opinion. Rooney will be a great player in the future. Absolutely will be. I think he's already shown that a lot at this current moment in time, where he's been that sort of... where he's played at centre-back, he's played at right-back throughout pre-season, he's done it in League 1 as well, where he's been sort of an excellent addition to Derby County's squad, in my personal opinion. But obviously, everyone can have their own. I know that Eustace is being very, very careful with him, so we'll just have to wait and see. What's going on with Washington? He joined Matlock in the summer, but it is very interesting, because he did an interview a couple of days ago with Matlock Town, where he said that he was fit for pretty much the most of last season. He had a move on the cards in January, but picked up a little knock towards the end of the transfer window because he was still training, and it ended up suffering with him not ending up getting that move, which is obviously unfortunate. I can't even lie, I feel Selverson will flop a little bit. I know we barely saw him last season, but I don't know if he's even getting in the squad over Morris and Ajimang. With Selverson, it's very... I think this shows what a good position Derby County are in. You've got, 4 strikers now that you can call upon. Carlton Morris, Patrick Ajimang, Lars-Jørgen Selverson and Dejan Brown, who have all got who all will have championship experience or have experience at the top level. And I think that having that amount of numbers in comparison to just having Jerry Yates last year, I think speaks volumes. And I think it puts Derby County in a very, very good position. Obviously, we're going to have to sort of wait and see where Selverson fits in once he gets back fit. But obviously, if we go to that 2-striker 3-5-2, like I think we will, I think it changes the entire discussion about Selverson. But obviously, that could all change. I need more CBT against champ teams. He goes missing. Yeah, he does go missing, but I also think that when he gets the ball, it causes massive problems, and that's sort of the main thing that we sort of need to be looking for in a winger and things like that. And I do think that he's had a decent sort of pre-season, obviously a decent start to the season with the assist, but we're sort of moving into that position of where if he can't stay fit and he can't cause problems consistently, he's not going to be a part of the team, unfortunately. But that is obviously for John Eustace to make the decision on. It's obviously a position that Derby County need to strengthen, but we're going to have to wait and see. Any more news on Kmart Roof? Now, Kmart Roof was obviously on trial at Derby County throughout pre-season, where, don't get me wrong, I think he did a fairly decent job in pre-season, but obviously broke down. I think it was the Solihull Moors game where he broke down, and ultimately I don't think he'll get signed. I don't necessarily think we need him. I think he was brought in as a cover just in case Morris wasn't able to get back fit and all that jazz, where he would have got a short-term contract. So for me, I'd anticipate he probably won't end up staying, if I'm completely honest. I know you said in your live stream last week that you aren't planning on going to any away games, but if you did one, what would your dream away day be? I'd love to do like one of the Prem teams, like United, Chelsea, Spurs, something like that. But in terms of our division, I've always wanted to do Millwall. I've looked at doing it a couple of times, just never obviously followed through. So if I was going to say one, I'd probably have to say Millwall. Where is Brewster going to fit when he's fit? So with Ryan Brewster, it is going to be an interesting one to see where he does end up, because for me, I think he's a very, very good, obviously, I think he's very good at causing a threat. I'm not going to say he scores loads of goals or creates loads of chances, but he causes the threat. He causes problems in the brain of defenders. For me, I think he'll probably play on the right or in that number 10 role, but then obviously that all depends on whether we play with two strikers or one, because if we play the 4-2-3-1, I probably play him off the right. If we play the 3-5-2, I probably play him as that second striker, but we'll sort of wait and see sort of how that sort of goes once he is back fit and available. Do you really think we need Travis when we've got Kenzo? For some reason, some Blackburn fans are happy for him to go. I'm gonna break the news to you right now. Blackburn fans aren't happy to see him go. Like, that is the complete and honest truth. No Blackburn fan is happy to see Lewis Travis move on. They all want him to stay. They're all just disappointed that their club captain has made the decision that he wants to move on, in my personal opinion. They're trying to... We've done it before in the past with players that have moved on, and I think that's what they're doing. They don't really want him to go, but they know it's probably pretty much all said and done, in my opinion. But for me, I think that Travis just makes us better, in my opinion, and I don't think that whatever Blackburn fans say, I think we just need to all take it with like a pinch of salt, to be completely honest, because they're not entirely sure sort of the situation that they've got going on behind the scenes. Do we have a date for Ajimang and Brewster? So Patrick Ajimang and Ryan Brewster both should be back around the international break. So I think, is it Preston, the first game after the international break? That's where I think we will see them, if I'm honest. How's Carlton Morris doing? Scored on Saturday. Didn't play last night up against West Brom. Was rested, obviously keep him fit for the Championship, because we're missing a few players. But for me, I think he's done really well across the course of pre-season and things like that. But it's one of those where we're going to have to sort of see how he progresses and how his position changes when new players come in. The likes of Bobby Clark, the likes of Vyman, the likes of Ryan Brewster. Obviously, if you add in Lewis Travis, how is that going to impact his style and things like that? Team for Saturday: Zetterstrom, Beck, Bart, Clark, Rooney, Ozo, Adams, Vyman, Kenzo, Clark, Morris. 4-2-3-1 formation. Yeah, I think that is probably looking a decent side. I do have a feeling though that the likes of Ozo, Vyman and Clark probably won't play, but we'll sort of wait and see on that one. how much know much about this new performance analyst from City? So, I'm not going to turn around and say I know a great deal about him, but I'm going to be complete. I know a couple of people that have had like interviews and things like that at City, and like it's difficult. It's difficult to get in there. I know someone who's had an interview at Man United as well, and I know that Derby County have lost a lot of analysts over the course of the last 12 months. The 18s analyst has moved on. They left a couple of days ago. What was the 21s analyst has moved on as well. So it's one of those where a few people have moved out, but we're moving people in as well. So let's just look at this new analyst then. He's been at City for the previous 3 years. He spent 9 years at Leicester as the lead academy analyst. He's the latest appointment by John Eustace and was appointed, obviously Eustace was appointed as the head coach back in February. Freitas's departure is the latest in a string of changes at City's backroom team. Obviously, they've brought in Pep Linders, who was with Jurgen Klopp, I think it was, and they've brought in James French, as well as a couple of other assistants. Now, it's one of those which is a very, very interesting one in regards to Derby County getting it done, because I think it's a very, very good move to bring in a Man City first team analyst to Derby County. I think it speaks volumes of where we are as a club. So hopefully that will obviously push Derby County in the right direction. Being an analyst isn't an easy job. It's hard work, it's long hours, and it isn't necessarily the best paid unless you're in one of those top positions. So we will wait and see. Do you think now Ebeseli would be realistic for the Rams? I'm not entirely sure. I think he's playing in Turkey, isn't he? Festi Ebeseli is currently playing at Istanbul Besiktas. He has he played? When does their season start? Last season he played 7 times for them after moving from Watford. It could potentially be a move that's on the cards. It is one that is possible, but we'll sort of wait and see. Leeds United's best team in England. You know this when we beat you last season. Derby County are crap. Appreciate you being in here and interacting, Arthur. Think Osmo's goal on Saturday could be an early contender for goal of the season. You're not wrong at all. I think it definitely can be. But then Joe Ward blew him out the water. I think Joe Ward sort of takes the absolute mustard with that free kick, if I'm completely honest. Completely random question, but where do you film your videos? And obviously now, just interested. So essentially, this is like an outhouse outside of my house, next to my house, where I've essentially cleaned it all out, fixed it all up and stuff like that, and put all my setup and stuff in here. But yeah, that's where I film everything at the moment. Any updates on Domain Augustine? He moved on to Arsenal, and Arsenal seem to be raving about him at the minute. I think he's going to be a big part of their plans as an under-21, which is obviously where he would have ended up for Derby County had he stayed on, but obviously decided against signing new terms. What's your score predictions for Coventry and who you reckon we get in the Cup? I'd really like Doncaster Rovers, if I'm honest. Spent time working at Doncaster Rovers during my final year of uni, so it would be really good to get them at Pride Park. That would be one of my favourites. So who was their analyst when they won the treble? Yeah, he must have been. He must have been. But we'll have to wait and see sort of how impactful he is at Derby County, because obviously depending on the club you're at, depends on the equipment you get hold of and things like that, and I think that makes a huge difference for me. Any other transfer news apart from Travis and Johnston? So there's obviously the Alex Mowat link that is currently ongoing, and whether that ends up happening or not, I'm not entirely sure. We're awaiting confirmation of a third bid in regards to that of Max Johnston, which is obviously one you know about. There's obviously the Lewis Travis ongoing saga, which realistically I think it's going to sort of roll on for the next few days, if I'm completely honest. But he's made his decision for me, so it shouldn't really make much of a difference. That deal should get done. He wants to come here, so they might as well just chuck it in and make a move happen. But realistically, we need some more in regards to wingers and positions like that, because otherwise we're going to have to move into sort of a back three formation, and whether that will happen or not, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the right move. So we're sort of going to have to wait and see. You think John Eustace should bring wingers from the under-21s? Now looking at getting any wingers. So essentially, I think that if Derby County don't bring in a winger, I think Lennon Wilden will be a main part of Derby County's first team, because he can play all across the front four. He can play as a 10, left, right and a 9. But we will wait and see sort of how it happens, if I'm completely honest, because there's obviously still a long time to go. Apparently Derby County are interested in Amin Salama. Don't know anything about him. This is not from a popular news linker, so is this new? It is new. Can you tag me in it on Twitter? If it's on Twitter. Because obviously that will be one to look into. If we do just take a brief look at him, 25 years old, can play all across the front three, over the court. Whether it's one Derby will do, I don't know. If you look at his numbers, 88 appearances since 21-22, 5 goals, 3 assists. I don't think it makes much sense, to be quite honest. So that's one that we'll have to sort of work on. I don't think we need Moat realistically. I think with Moat it's an interesting one, because if we don't get Travis, Moat makes sense. If we get Travis, Moat makes no sense. So how does it work with analysts then? We have one for us and then one to analyse the away team. Then they merge ideas together. So let's go on a bit of a tangent about analysis. At Derby County, when I was at Derby, we had 3 first team analysts. We had one for the 21s, one for the 18s, one for the 16s, and the person who did the 16s also oversaw under 8s, well, pre-academy all the way up to 16s. So they'd be in charge of like your interns and things like that, which is what I was, which is obviously a really important job, getting all that footage and things like that. But in terms of first team, all 3 of them would work together. All 3 of them would work together to get the job done. And essentially, they'd look at, let's say, 5 games of the previous opposition. It would be 5, let's say a team was coming to play us, let's say Bolton for example. They'd look at 5 Bolton away games, and they'd also maybe look at 1 or 2 of their home games to see how things may change from being at home and being away. But in terms of how the first team analysts work, one of them would be big on the set pieces, one of them would be massively involved in sort of filming training and things like that. And then in terms of like match day sort of thing, you have one who's up in the stands, I think is it the East Stand, West Stand, where obviously like Rams TV and things like that is. There'll be one with a camera which has a link connection down to not just the dugout but also the press line in the stands, which is in the same stand as the dugout, where they'll be live coding games, and they'll be clipping up things for the manager and things like that to use at half time and things like that and moving forward. But ultimately, you've got, let's say, 3 or 4 analysts who do the same job, and they just work on different things within. Like one of them may focus on the defensive side of things, one of them may focus on set pieces, one may focus on the attacking end, but there's sort of a lot that sort of goes on as an analyst. It is a very interesting job, and but it's a difficult job, to be completely honest with you. Who are your 5 most pointless Derby signings recently? Anang, Embleton, Chiwa, Luke McGee, Harvey White. Do you know something? We'll have to go with one. We'll have to go with all of those, to be honest. That's a very, very average bunch. Richard Greaves. So poll ended. Looks like it will be early start for you. That's perfectly fine for me. What free transfers are they that we could realistically get? Can you have a look for me? In terms of free transfers, there's obviously a fair few players out there. Let's see. Can we find free agents? Josh Brownhill, probably not. Josh De Silva, maybe. That's a potential. Eric Singer's held talks with Wrexham, I think, didn't he? So Grady Diangana is a possibility. Paco Alcacer, that's a name from the past. Jamal Lewis, left back. Daniel Armati, Matt Ryan, someone we tried to sign last summer. There's a decent chunk of players. If you go on Transfer Market and look at the free agent, there's so many of them. There is. Okay, yeah, that's all right, Callum. Think Adjumang will be decent signing for us, but think 7.3 is quite pricey. It is. It very is a pricey move for Adjumang. in terms of sort of what can happen, but it's one which I think is a move in the right direction for Derby. I heard Carabao Conte was a done deal from a reporter at the start of the season. Do you know what happened? So, from what I'm aware, with that deal, it was pretty much done and dusted, right? But it seems as if Derby County then sort of moved on to other targets. Ozo, obviously you look at Travis, Mowat, you obviously brought in Bobby Clark, you look at Andy Vyman, who took a position. So I think it's one of those where he's not necessarily needed, if I'm completely honest, but we'll have to sort of wait and see how it progresses in that regard. What happened to the first team coach we got from Arsenal last year? I think you're talking about Steve Round. He is essentially a consultant, I believe, to Derby County at the moment, where he's essentially helping John Eustace. Tactics, ideas, someone who can bounce things off. Steve Round is a massively influential guy in the footballing scene, so it will be interesting to see if he is still about. I don't know if we have confirmation on that or not, but we will wait and see. Sorry, just got here. What have I missed? Not much, really. Been here for 45 minutes. We've discussed Lewis Travis, Max Johnston, talked about Alex Mowat as well. There's a latest new link with Amin Slimani or something like that, which we're sort of looking into as well. And obviously it's just one of those, we've obviously done a bit of a deep dive on analysis and things like that, as Callum asked the question about it. But it's one of those which is always a very interesting one once you're here. So obviously if you have any questions, Paul, drop them down in the comments. Give me one rogue shout about Derby County with the new season now underway. Mine is Zetterstrom to get a goal involvement this season. Goal or assist doesn't matter. So I'm going to say Rhian Brewster scores from 40 yards. Rhian Brewster scores from like 5 yards in front of the halfway line, something like that. Why not? There's got to be something coming for Derby County. And do you know something? Callum, that is a great question. Where are we finishing in the table? I think top half, 12th or above, I think we'll finish, if I'm completely honest. But obviously, it is always a difficult one. Shall we run a poll on that? Where will we finish? Question mark. So let's say 1 to 6. Let's say 6 to 12. 12 to 17. 17 to 24. There we go then. There is the poll in the chat for you. Give yourselves the option of where you think Derby County will finish this season. I do think we'll finish in the top half though. No worries, Paul. Hopefully it's a bottom 3 finish for you. Welcome in, Brandon. Hope you're enjoying the stream all about Derby County. We should get that Kamara back we got from Liga. Abdul Kamara, what a player he was, by the way. Unfortunately, couldn't stay fit and obviously didn't struggle. Where do you see us in the next 2 years? I think by 2027, 28, I think we're definitely pushing promotion in the Championship. But obviously a lot of that depends on sort of how this summer goes and then January and things like that. But at the moment, I'd say definitely a push for at least the top 6. What players would you send out on loan? Brian is a good shot in my opinion. For me, I've got my whole loan view depends on whether they're going to play football. So for me, Charles Ibuka should go out on loan. Dejan Brown should go out on loan. Jake Rooney, if he's not going to be a starter, should go out on loan. Lennon Wheeldon, if he's not going to play, loan. Owen Eames, loan. Isaac Gordon, loan. I think all of them are capable of making an impact, whether that be the National League or League Two, in my personal opinion. There's obviously the likes of Cruz Allen now, McAndrew. Dan Cox has gone to Warsaw as well. So there's a lot of moves which I think can be made within our academy, but obviously it takes time to get those deals done, and you've got to make sure it's the right move, not just for the club that's bringing him in, but also the player that's moving out, in my personal opinion. So we will have to wait and see on that one. Didn't Wilson reject his contract? I maybe think he could leave when we don't need him. In terms of Kane Wilson, it was discussed a few weeks ago. Well, it might have been a bit longer than that. At the end of the season, Derby County were essentially putting on a deal for him, and from what the rumours suggest, he hasn't accepted that. But obviously we don't know sort of how that may change with things that are going on, in my personal opinion, because Wilson may be sort of looking at it and going, if I have another good season, I could get a move to maybe a bottom end Premier League team. But in terms of that, of giving him a new contract, you don't want to overpay, because who knows when he could sort of drop out, in my personal opinion, in terms of that sort of injury situation. Do you have a match day routine or pre-match rituals that you do ahead of a derby game? Do you know what? I don't actually think I do. I used to get chips before every game. Don't do that anymore. Obviously, chubby cheeks and that. I need to get rid of any sort of carbs. But we'll sort of see how that goes. How did Ibu get 8 tackles more than Tomo and Kenzo combined at Stoke? Because that's Ibu's game. That's what Ibu is good at. Tackles is his... That's his bread and butter. If he's not winning tackles, he's not having an impact on the game. So I'm not surprised about his tackling numbers. Welcome in DCFC. Come on, you Rams. Premier League Rams. Hopefully, Callum, hopefully. Richard Greaves, what is your dream subscriber target by the end of 2025? Now, it is funny you mentioned subscriber targets. I posted a video, I think it was on New Year's, about all my targets for the upcoming year and things like that. And I'm pretty sure that my target was something in relation of like 3,000, I want to say. Right now we're sitting on just over 2,600, and hopefully we can get there. But we'll wait and see. We'll see how it progresses across the course of this season. The watch-alongs have been doing amazing. So if they keep sort of pushing, these live streams as well have been doing well. Those of you who aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. But yeah, hopefully 3,000. I'll be happy with 3,000. Steve Round and City's treble-winning analyst, then alongside a top 3 manager in the Championship. Do not say top 3. He's top 1, and you know it. John Eustace is the best manager in the league. What is the first name of the name? Give me 2 seconds. I'll get it. I'll find it for you. His name is. Let me just find it on. Amin Salama. Let me type it in the comments for you. Amin Salama. There you go. What's next? What's next up? Who do you think is our main player? Only one. I think we need a main good winger, but for now I think Morris. In terms of what we have right now, I think our main player is Carlton Morris. I think he showed on Saturday his clinical nature. Ultimately, that's something that Derby County haven't had for the last few years, a striker that puts away the chances consistently, and I think he'll do it. But we'll sort of wait and see how that sort of goes. A good move for the Rams would be to bring Ibu back, and maybe a centre-back. He loves a challenge, but Eustace is thinking the opposite. Yeah, I completely understand what Eustace is... I completely understand what Eustace is sort of trying to do in regards of that of... Ibu Adams, because in terms of what Ibu Adams offers, like, he could have a huge impact on that end of the pitch. If he wins the ball back in their final third, and you've got both your wingers up there and your striker, you're pretty much through on goal. So I think it's a good move, but it's one which I don't think he's the right player to do it. I think we'd be better to do that kind of move with David Ozo, who's been very, very good at keeping hold of the ball and making things happen. And I don't necessarily think that Ibu Adams has done that in his career at Derby County, but we will sort of wait and see for me. Eustace top 2 and he ain't second. You are absolutely right, Callum. That is exactly what John Eustace is. Number 1 in the division, number 1 in our hearts. John Eustace will always be the number 1. I'm not sure, but I heard about, I think it's a potential one, but I think it's an unlikely one given his like goal record and things like that. So obviously that's the whole point of this. It's to look at those sort of rumours. It's to look at those moves that are being reported, and that's obviously what I'm here to talk about today. So if there's anyone who you think Derby County are linked with, anything like that, I'm happy to look into it. Love how much you've got involved in the live streams recently. They've been really good and have been very popular. Watch along's great too. Really appreciate that, Richard. Obviously, live streams have been something I've wanted to do since I started this channel, but it's always been something I've been sort of quite nervous to do, if I'm completely honest, because obviously when you're live, you can't edit out mistakes. If you say something wrong, you can't edit it out and things like that. Now, I'm not saying I do a great deal of editing on my videos, because ultimately I don't, but it's one of those where I do think that in terms of live streams, it's something that I think I like to have that interaction. I like to talk and hear what you guys have to say about the transfers, about the news and things like that. And sometimes I find it quite difficult to keep up with comments because sometimes I'll get like 20 or 30 on a video, and sometimes I find it really difficult to be able to reply to everyone. So in this respect, I can literally just talk to you and sort of reply as you say it, sort of thing. So it makes things a little bit easier. Come on, everyone, subscribe if you haven't already. He tries his best to get all the live streams for everyone. He offers most of his time for us to watch. I do offer a lot of time, but obviously you only have to stay if you enjoy it, because I need the views is what helps the channel. The views is what helps the channel, and obviously with these live streams recently, they've done incredibly. They've been absolutely incredible for me. So I appreciate everybody stopping by. Callum, David Ozo and Lewis Travis double pivot. Don't even need a VPN to watch it. Do you know something? It's going to be absolutely naughty once Lewis Travis gets to Derby County. There has been a tweet from BBC Radio Derby. Just give me 1 second. Let me just make sure it's nothing to do with Lewis Travis. Is Blackburn captain Lewis Travis heading towards Derby County? Oh, they're just talking about it on Sports Scene at 6. Fair play to them. It's obviously one which everyone wants to hear about, but we will sort of wait and see how that happens. Only been watching Lewis for a year. He's done great chatting with everyone. I try my best. To be as active as possible and try to reply to everybody and interact with everybody, because at the end of the day, you guys give up your time watching my time where I just chat absolute bollocks. And I'm not even going to lie, sometimes my opinions may be shit, sometimes they may be good, but at the end of the day, we're all football fans, we're all Derby fans, and we're all just trying to see the best for our club. And I know some people might not like my opinions, and that is completely okay. And I don't mind if you have different opinions to me. I'm all for it. I'm all for discussion and interaction. And that is why I've started doing these live streams in the end. Think Vickers was unbelievable yesterday, great cup goalkeeper. You're absolutely spot on, you know. If I remember rightly, I'm pretty sure Vickers got man of the match within my live stream vote for it, because for me, Vickers is one of those keepers that I don't necessarily think he's a first choice goalkeeper at championship level, but I think he's got all the ability to be that perfect backup in moving us forward. So look at Walker at DCFC. That's where I saw and other moves. Have a look. No clue if real. In terms of Walcott, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying that he doesn't know anything or anything like that, but he is he's someone who's slandered me in the past. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It probably is out there somewhere. Like, no doubt at all, it probably is. But we're going to have to sort of wait and see where that comes from. Bro banter at its best. Try my best to keep everybody happy. That's the important part of this game. How long until Brewster may feature? I think it'll be after the international break, if not just a little bit before. That Salami guy's another 6'4" lad. Yeah, but it's exactly what we sort of need, in my personal opinion. You want players who are going to cause problems. For me, that's what you want as a manager, as a coach, as an analyst. You want players who make opposition teams think, if that makes sense. And Brewster makes people think. Clark makes people think. Vyman makes people think. Morris, you can't leave him alone. So for me, that's why I don't like Adams being that number 10. Random question: do you collect any football sticker cards? And if not, did you used to in your childhood? Love collecting them. I do. EFL collection coming out soon. When I was younger, I had books and books full of like match attacks, shoot cards, and all things like that. But one year we had a clear out, and my mum sold them. Now, I'm not being funny. I bet, like, I had like, I think it was like 100 Club Rooney. I'm pretty sure I had a Cristiano Ronaldo from when he was at United. Like, I was little, and so I loved them. And I look at it now, and I didn't realise like how much value those cards could hold. And I really wish I could go back and get them back, if I'm honest. What's going on with Owen Beck and Brewster? So Brewster didn't have a pre-season, obviously, without having a club. So it made it difficult for him to sort of come in and be ready straight away. He is training with the group. He's just not quite ready to be involved. Owen Beck, no idea. We have no idea what's going on with Owen Beck. There's been no discussion on what the actual injury is or what the circumstance is. But obviously, Elder and Fozzie are fit, so we're in an okay position with that anyway. And obviously, worst case scenario, Ben Osborne can sit out there. Going to be a banger FC this season. Now, I don't know about FC. It's been one of those for me, FIFA, whatever you want to call it, where for me, it's always sort of been like the same game. Like, they've not made enough changes, they've not developed it enough. Now, I am going to live stream playing it for a bit, because I am going to buy it, so why not live stream? Let's do a bit of Ultimate Team and shit like that, and sort of see how that progresses this season, because that could obviously be a big boost for the channel as well. It obviously gives something else other than just the Derby County content, but we're going to have to wait and see. Are you going to collect the EFL sticker collection? If so, can you do sticker pack openings on the channel? That is something that I could do, to be honest. People seem to like that, so I'll look into it. I will. Build a time machine. I'd love to build a time machine, Paul. Send me back to when I was about 5 years old. I think Derby County were in the Prem that year. So, how far away are we from the draw? We are about half an hour away from the draw. We will be live until Derby County's name is called. We will obviously we'll discuss that once it's out, and then we will head on off from this live stream. Obviously, those of you who have joined, I really appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, turn on the like button, hit the like button, whatever. Obviously, this season has been like, this season so far, it's been good in a sense of we've had bad performances. The West Brom game's great victory. Like, nobody can doubt how good of a victory that was. Should do PL Fantasy. I've built mine and loving it. Do you know something? I've not even looked at Fantasy, to be honest with you. It's something that when does PL season start? PL season. When does the Premier League season start? That's going to be this weekend, isn't it? Don't tell me the Premier League starts this weekend. I've not even looked at anything. Match day and table. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it starts on Friday. Oh no, I've not even looked at it. Will you do a live vlog on Saturday? So Saturday I will be doing a match day vlog, which will be out obviously after the game. Sunday I'll probably go live, discuss the game and any sort of transfer moves and things like that. Obviously, if Derby County sign anyone in between now and Saturday, we will obviously jump on live and discuss it, because that's the aim of the game. Who does everyone want in the next round? I want Doncaster. Doncaster, Grimsby, something like that. Someone where you can give Dejan Brown another run out. Someone where you can give Lennon Wheeldon an opportunity. If Charles Abuka's fit, give him an opportunity. That would be sort of my sort of hope, if I'm honest. Although, to be fair, I'd love United. United would be a good game. United at Pride Park. That would be excellent in terms of my like, what's it called? It'd be brilliant in terms of match day vlogs. So, Friday Leeds Everton. Yeah. The win was good, but let's be honest, we are still shocking at the moment compared to where it's going. Yeah, we definitely are. We are in a difficult position in terms of performances at the moment. But it's one of those where I think once everybody's back fit, I think we'll be fine. How far off the fee are we for Travis? So I think the report is that they want about £3 million. Whereas Derby County have only bid so far 1.5. I think in the end we'll come to a mid-agreement in terms of... I think we'll come to an agreement in terms of... like £2 million as like a guaranteed fee, with an extra million on top in add-ons in terms of playoffs, promotion and things like that. But obviously that will be something that will sort of develop itself over time. And once that is all announced, we can obviously talk about it. But until then, it's sort of a very difficult one to know for sure. What do you do in your spare time when you're not recording, editing videos, filming, live streams, etc.? So recently I've got back into going to the gym. Obviously watch a lot of football, watch a lot of F1. But at the moment, this is sort of my main thing, like recording videos and stuff like that. I took a huge risk last year. I had the opportunity to go and do a master's and work in an EFL club as an analyst, but I'd just hit monetization on YouTube, and had I taken that opportunity, I wouldn't have been able to carry on with this, because you can't really have a social presence in that situation, because you can obviously cost yourself your job essentially. So at the moment, this is my main thing. It's currently what's paying my bills. So all of you stopping by, commenting and things like that, that is really helping like the channel grow and things like that, which is helping me be able to do more of this long term. So I appreciate every single one of you being here. So we'll sort of have to wait and see how long I can carry this on for. I would say, why don't you try a Road to Glory using only Derby players on Ultimate Team, but the Evo Grand would be torture. That would absolutely be torture. 100% would be torture. If we look at the poll, everyone seems to think that we will finish 6th to 12th, 56% of you, 21% top 6, 18% 12th to 17th, and 3% in that bottom pack, which fairly decent if we can do that, finish in the top half. Where would Ajimang fit in the system? Number 9, or as a second striker in a 3-5-2. 2 mil plus add-ons, yeah, that's what I think for Travis. To be honest, don't know why, but always get really nervous ahead of cup draws, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, etc. Can't wait to see the draw for this round. Yeah, I love the draws. I always find it difficult to watch them though. I think they're quite annoying because you just want your ball to come out the hat, and obviously that's sort of you're not in control of it. And for me, some of you may know, some of you may not, I do have autism. I like control. I like the control factor of things, but that's one of those things where if I could do the draw myself, it'd be brilliant, but obviously I can't. EFL club, can you say, if so, who? So I had an opportunity to stay at Doncaster Rovers. They were happy to keep me to do my masters and things like that, and there was a couple of opportunities through my uni that were going where Sheffield Wednesday was one that popped up. If I'd gone to Loughborough Uni for my masters, there was an opportunity at Derby that came up, but it was one of those where I put myself in a position here where my channel had done like 3 record months in a row, and I just felt like I didn't want to stop just yet. I wasn't ready to like give up YouTube essentially, if I'm completely honest, because I just felt as if this has a higher ceiling. Yes, I could go and work at Man City, I could go and work at Barcelona, I could go and earn that amount of money that realistically isn't a great deal in terms of the ceiling of what YouTube can reach. But we'll sort of see how it goes. I could end up back in the field. So obviously everyone who I worked with was amazing. I loved my time at Doncaster, I loved my time at Derby. If I do end up going back to uni, it will be very interesting. But obviously at the moment, I'll keep you all up to date with everything going on. Ajimang will probably be a super sub for a while. I feel completely agree. I do think he'll be a backup to start off with until he sort of builds his way into fitness and sort of has sort of a big performance off the bench. Derby County versus Elverston Warriors. Yeah, why not? Go for it. Chose not to do your masters and stick with YouTube channel. Unbelievable decision, mate. Do you know something? It was one of those decisions which, don't get me wrong, I could have walked in. Well, I'm not going to say that like a master's intern job would have been like 20 grand a year, but I could have gone and say, I could have gone to a lower league club, not done my masters, worked full time, and earned like a decent pay packet, but instead I've took the risk of this, trying to maximise it and see where I can go with it, because I just think there's more options with this than with doing my masters, doing the analysis. So I love analysis. I absolutely loved my time at Derby. I loved what I did. I loved the day-to-day of it and things like that. I loved the day-to-day of Doncaster, working with the academy players and working with the other analysts. Like, it was really, really good. But I just think for me and my personal situation, I sort of need a bit more control. I don't really want to be in a position where like other people can sort of pick me up and drop me essentially, and that's essentially what they can do, isn't it? Like if a new manager comes in, you can be gone overnight essentially. So we just sort of have to wait and see sort of what happens next, let's say. Apparently when we entered administration, Mike Ashley was interested in us, ex-Newcastle owner. He was interested in us, but didn't get a deal done because him and Mel Morris didn't see eye to eye on certain things, and he wasn't particularly willing to pay the debts. Have you always gone to Derby County matches with your granddad? Who have you been with other people before or on your own? I go on my own every now and again. Obviously, my granddad works shift work, so it's not necessarily something that he can always come to, which is fair enough. I occasionally go with my girlfriend as well, and obviously I've been by myself. My brother will come every now and again. My dad's come occasionally, but I essentially pay for 2 season tickets, and whoever wants to come with me comes with me essentially. Which I think is fair enough. Obviously, I don't mind who comes with me, to be fair, in terms of that. It's just going to be a very, very interesting scenario this season into how the season will go, because like the group around me, like sort of I feel like I kind of know them quite well now, because I've had that season ticket there since like the Rowett season, I think it was. So it's been very decent run for my money. So we're 17 minutes away from the draw kicking off. We are 17 minutes away from the draw kicking off. What else is going on in the world of Derby County, in the world of you guys? Anything you want to tell, anything you want to ask in terms of Derby County or anything in that matter? To be quite honest with you, I'm happy to discuss absolutely anything. So it's bloody hot today, isn't it? It is bloody hot. Where can I watch the draw? I believe it's on Sky Sports Football. I do. But obviously it'll be posted by Derby once the team has been pulled out of the hat anyway. Apparently Garland Grant is a lot closer is a lot closer than everyone else thinks to sign in, according to Talks of the Albion. I'm assuming that's on Twitter. Talks of the Albion. You actually sit quite near me. I sit north stand up. You said before you sit north stand up. I'm surprised I've never seen you in the concourse. Do you know something? There's probably so many people that have seen me but probably don't sort of like notice that they've seen me. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things. You probably have seen me, if I'm completely honest. But it's one of those things. There was a time where there was a certain group of people trying to claim that they were going to beat me up in the North Stand. So it's been an interesting year or so of doing YouTube, having people not necessarily liking me. Let's put it that way. Let's search Carlon Grant. Carlon Grant talk of the Albion. Talk of the... I can't spell. Let's just put it this way. I cannot spell. Talk of the Albion. Let's see. Can I find an account? Yeah, I can't find this Talk the Albion account. Do you enjoy where you sit at Derby matches, and do you have a good view? Yeah, I think it's quite decent, to be honest. Obviously, like, there's lots of ways to sort of judge where you sit. Like, you can obviously sit on one of the sides, and in my opinion, that is the best view to know everything that's going on. But being behind the goal when a ball goes in, there's nothing better, in my opinion. Like last season when Fozzie scored, obviously Yates scored a couple, and obviously Harness and things like that. When they score in front of you, it is a different beast. What stand you sit in? I sit in North. I do. I sit in North. Borough lost 4-0 to Doncaster. Yeah, nothing wrong with a bit of Doncaster. We love Doncaster. Doncaster are the boys. Hopefully, we get Doncaster. I'd love Doncaster at home. Doncaster at home, play a backup team. If Doncaster win, Doncaster win. If Derby win, Derby win. Do you ever go to pre-season friendlies? I've been to a couple over the last few years. I was going to go to Austria this year, but it clashed with when I was already away, so I couldn't... yeah, was I away? No, I just got back. sort of thing. So I couldn't go. I went last year to Fozzie's testimonial. Year before I went to one. But with pre-season, it's always difficult to judge because you're paying a tenner for a ticket. Well, it's about a tenner for a ticket for an adult, isn't it, for pre-season? And you can watch the game for a fiver. So it's always a hit and miss one about what you do. I sit in South. Yeah, South's good to sit in. Loads, like, obviously, South is one of, like, the main stands at Derby. It is. Is anything going? Let's search. Shall we search Lewis Travis and see if anything's changed in the last hour? Because I've not taken a look. You doing the draw or should I watch it on Sky? You can watch it on Sky, but I'm gonna be here waiting for it to pop up. I could get Sky Go up. I don't know if it will load. Give me a second. If I can get Sky Go to load, I'll put it on. Just give me 2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm back. I've got Sky going. If I cut build up. Let's get the headphones on, shall we? Let's see. What channel is the draw on? Is it Sky Sports Football? Wireless mode. Right. There we go. Right. I've got the draw on. So if you want to stay for the draw, you can stay for the draw. Can you hear them talking? Let me know if you can hear them talking. Because obviously at the moment they're chatting shit about the games. I always go to home pre-season friendlies, but went to Matlock and Burton away this summer. Don't blame you. Decent trek. I went to Austria, Warsaw, Matlock. Decent. Good on you. I went Real Valladolid. Yeah, that was a good game. Who do you think we're going to get then? Who do you think we're going to get in the draw? Not surprised we beat West Brom. Got a good record about them. Let's just chuck that over there. Can't hear them talking, only a few memos. Right. I don't want to get copyright, if I'm completely honest with you. So we'll keep that to a minimum. Can't hear them talking, only a few memos. I'll turn it up a bit when it gets going. I will, once we get to the draw. I hope we get Doncaster. Doncaster will be good. Derby is a WBA bogey site. Absolutely are. I saw a tweet yesterday which I thought was really funny. It was a West Brom fan saying that we could be in the National League with part-timers and we'd still beat them, and I don't necessarily disagree with them, to be quite honest. We are 10 minutes away from the draw. 10 minutes away from the draw. Do you have anything in regards to transfer questions or anything like that before we obviously get to obviously the draw? Want a big club, not lie, but probably a Stoke or Grimsby. I wouldn't be opposed. I'd love United at home, but I wouldn't be bothered about the likes of Doncaster at home. Everton away would be a good game considering they're in their new stadium now, aren't they? Has the draw started yet? No, they're about 10 minutes away, Richard. 10 minutes from the draw. But they're just talking to Chef Wed manager at the moment. They are. Wrexham, yeah, Wrexham would be a good game. Leeds would be cinema. Yeah, Leeds would be good. Let's hope for a Big Six cartel. If we get United, let's just say I called it. 100%. Let's just say I called it. United would be a great game for me. I'd love us to get United. I would. Obviously, those of you who are in the chat, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to stay tuned. Donald Trump did the draw ages ago. What's your thoughts on the current Sheffield Wednesday situation? So, I feel bad for Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, they've had their own problems, but it's one of those where they weren't exactly nice to us. But I feel bad for them, if I'm completely honest. I do feel bad for them. Arthur Bushby, I'm Leeds through and through, and I can safely say you have completely let me and fellow Leeds fans down. The amount of examples these Derby fans could come back at you. Fair enough, Natalie. If we get Doncaster, say I called it. Doncaster or United, I'm saying called it. Mount Homecoming, that would be absolute cinema. I'd love to see Mason Mount back at Pride Park. One of my favourite players at Derby County. If we get United either home or away, I dare you to shout I told you so at the top of your voice. Why not? If we beat Leyton Orient, we would have got City. We would have got City. That was an embarrassing night. Come back at you with embarrassing and you deserve it. I don't really know who Natalie's talking to. I'm not going to lie. Fair play, Natalie, if you're... I hope you're okay, Natalie. Seems to be having a bit of stress. Little bit of stress for you, Natalie. It's all okay. We're all alright in here. Everybody is friends. We're all friends here. Derby, Leeds, Forest, maybe. Not really. Leeds, maybe not friends either. But we're all friends here. I really don't understand what Natalie's going on about. Natalie, fill me in. What's going on? Joined 11 months ago. We're 6 minutes away from the draw. Now that halfway line shot from Orient against City. Yeah. Orient deserved to go through, let's not lie. They were very good on the night. Lewis Goldbridge shouting, I told you so. I told you so! Wouldn't mind United. That Wilson knuckleball free kick was incredible last time out. It was unbelievable. Not Forest. Are Forest even in the draw yet? So that's where my problem... I don't even know who's in the draw. I think I looked earlier, but I don't even know. Got to go now, Lewis. Cheers, mate. Brilliant live stream. Remember to shout, I told you so, at the top of your voice. I'll make sure I do it if we get United or Doncaster. I will do it, don't you worry. Thank you for stopping by anyway, Richard. Leicester is our nearest thing to a local derby match this season. Yeah, it is. Let's take a look. Carabao Cup. It is saying that the draw is on Twitter as well for those of you who don't have Sky, but it's not up. It's not actually working right now. Birmingham would be nice. Yeah, wouldn't be opposed to Birmingham. Yeah, they've got to beat Sheffield United though. No, not Forest. Welcome to the stream. Everybody is welcome in here. Everybody is welcome. We love everybody. Wouldn't mind a Sunderland away either. This has gone from a transfer chat to a cup draw chat, so we're going for it. Let's just stay for the cup draw. We're going for it, yeah. We're going for it. Wouldn't mind Sunderland away. That'd be decent. Not the draw. The chat. Not the draw. The chat room. Come on, Lewis. I can't help but think EFL will rig Derby versus Forest tonight. I don't think Forest are in it yet. I don't think we can actually get Forest yet because they're in Europe, aren't they? Unfortunately, so I don't actually think they're in the draw yet. I think the draw is about to get underway. I do. I think the draw is going to get underway. If they do give us Forest, I'll be... Well, obviously can't have Forest tonight. If we do end up getting Forest in the cup, Chris Wood over Carlton Morris over Chris Wood, of course. Chris Wood's just had one good season. One good season. Might be a Premier League striker, but one good season. Wait, teams in Europe enter round 3? Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure they enter round 3, so I don't think we can get Forest. What can we do here? Whew. Who are we going to get? Give me Doncaster, give me Man United. I'll be buzzing with either of those. We are heading for the draw. Heading for the draw. Let me just share the stream one more time. Going through EFL Cup draw live. Post. There we go. If you don't already, head on over to Twitter, follow me over there, head on over to TikTok, things like that. Make sure you follow me on all platforms, because we're sort of flying away on YouTube and other platforms are sort of dropping a little bit. Okay, if Forrest joined the chat, you must buy Lewis a coffee. Hot chocolate, but go for it. If people want to do anything like that, everybody can do what they want. At the end of the day, you guys supporting me is what gives me the opportunity to be able to keep going, to be able to keep pushing with the channel and things like that. And the only way that's going to be able to continue is with support. And you guys have been amazing so far over the first few streams I've done, the videos over the last couple of years as well. It's been very, very good. I appreciate every single one of you. Repeat of 2018 versus Man United away, penalties and Goldbridge shouting what a prat. Do you know? I'm gonna have to. If we get United away, Goldbridge doesn't go to games, does he? Let's not lie. Goldbridge doesn't go to games. We're gonna have to try and get a Goldbridge feature. We're going to have to try and get a Goldbridge feature. Get me on the Goldbridge channel. Get me on the United stand. Is he still with the United stand? I don't even know where Goldbridge does any of his stuff, to be quite honest with you. I just see the clips. But could you imagine a Derby County Lewis Everett on a Goldbridge stream? Championship, who gives a fuck? We're going to win the Carabao Cup. We fucking are. We're going to win the cup. Let's mark Goldbridge. Does he do it on his own chat? Or, no, I think he does it on United Stand, doesn't he? They're actually live right now. They're doing a transfer news update as well. United Stand are doing a transfer update. Who's on the United Stand? Is it Goldbridge? They're obviously talking about the Brighton midfielder, aren't they? It's not even. Do you know something? Give me a member for 75 months. They're on about Donnarumma and Balbea. We're on the draw. We're on the draw, everybody. We are on the Carabao Cup draw. Keep your eyes peeled. Who are we going to get? Who are we going to get in the Carabao Cup? It's meant in the stars. Yeah, me and United Stand, that collaboration is coming. The collaboration, it is coming. Whatever. I apologise to you and to everyone else on your behalf. Real grown-up Leeds fans, that Arthur Bushby is an idiot. My fella is Derby and I'm Leeds, but I'm... Oh, I appreciate you, Natalie. Welcome in. I didn't mean coffee, literally. I meant if Forest short. Well, you know something? Absolutely. If they can do whatever they want. They can buy me a hot... No, they can actually buy me hot chocolates if they want. Genuinely, Paul, they can buy me anything. Literally. I should get a wish list going, shouldn't I? Should get a wish list for the comments. Oh. Does anybody else, like Derby Rated, actually do lives like this? Where they just talk shit? Because it's obviously the best part of the game for me. Genuinely, the best part of football is talking absolute bollocks. Come on. What are we doing right now? We're doing the Southern draw right now. Southern draw right now. Forest aren't into the next round, Parky. Fulham are at home, but who are they up against? Fulham face Bristol City. Fulham, Bristol City, that'll be a decent game. Number 13, Norwich. $17, Southampton. Donate the value, DCFC. Donate the value. 14 now. Oxford are at home. Hey Natalie, some of my family are married to Leeds fans. It's great fun. My granddad on my mum's side is a Leeds fan. Oxford get Brighton at home. 16. Reading at home. Who's Derby's fourth biggest rival? Stoke, Millwall. Genuinely, it's just Forest. I don't really care about anybody else. Reading at home against Wimbledon. That's a decent tie. Obviously, all League One though, innit? So, number 1, Bournemouth. They are at home. Who are they facing up against? Bournemouth are facing up against number 3, which is Brentford. That's a decent one. Decent one. Number 12 is the next out the hat. Home tie. Millwall at home. Gimme, gimme, gimme. United at home. Absolutely frenzy. Forest, Leicester, Leeds, yeah. Nothing wrong with Leeds. You're right, Paul. Nothing wrong with Leeds. Millwall, Coventry. Millwall at home. My mum's side is Chesterfield. My dad's side is Derby. Fair. Number 20. Wolves at home. Wolves are at home up against number 19, which is West Ham, an all Premier League tie. Number 18, Swansea City are at home. They face up against 15, Plymouth. They face up against Plymouth. Lewis, you're fast forward your speech. What? Am I talking too fast? Oh. Bromley are at home. Bromley get Wickham at home. Number 8, Cardiff City are at home. It was linked, so no worries. Cardiff will face Cheltenham or Exeter at home. Number 7, Cambridge are at home. This ends the southern section. I don't know who the last team is, to be quite honest. Number 9 for Charlton. Good to see Bromley go through. Would have loved to see West Ham. My father-in-law's a I don't think we can get them in this round. If I'm honest, I don't think we can get them in this round. So the southern section: Fulham, Bristol at Fulham, Norwich, Southampton at Norwich, Oxford, Brighton at Oxford, Reading, Wimbledon at Reading, Bournemouth, Brentford at Bournemouth, Millwall, Coventry at Millwall, Wolves, West Ham at Wolves, Swansea, Plymouth at Swansea, Bromley, Wickham at Bromley, Cardiff versus Cheltenham or Exeter at Cardiff, and Cardiff host Charlton in the next round. Joe Ward needs to start as a free kick taker. Joe Ward probably will end up being a starter for John Eustace, I can't lie. There's still hope then. Yeah, we've just got to get through the next round. I'd love Chelsea at home. Chelsea aren't in it this round, from what I'm aware. I do think Joe Ward may end up being a starter. I genuinely do. So, number 24, starting the northern section. Tranmere or Burton will face up against... Don't be Derby. Number 9, Lincoln City. So Tranmere or Burton will host Lincoln City. I think Derby County are number 4. Number 1, Accrington Stanley are at home up against... Who are they going to get? Number 5. That's so close. They'll go to Doncaster. No, I want a Doncaster. Number 18. Wigan are at home. Wigan are at home. Who do they get? Number 15. Who's that? Stockport. United and Derby are still in it. United and Derby are still in it. Number 16. Stoke. If we've got Stoke, I'm going to cry. Number 2. Stoke take on Bradford. Stoke take on Bradford. We're all right. Number 3 is Burnley. Burnley are at home up against number 4. Oh, that's a. I'm not happy about that draw. I'm not happy. Number 17, Sunderland take on. Sunderland will take on number 23, who is Huddersfield or Leicester. I'm disappointed about that. I'm disappointed. Who are United going to get now? Number 21, Birmingham City or Sheffield United will face number 12, Port Vale. That's a decent one. It'll be a draw. Penalties again. We got Burnley. Yeah, I've just seen. Well, I'm not getting my Doncaster ticket paid this time, am I? I'm not getting my Doncaster ticket paid. Preston face up against Wrexham at home. Number 20, Barnsley or Fleetwood. They'll face up against number 14. We are away, Paul. We are away. Barnsley and Fleetwood will face Rotherham. We are away at Burnley, Paul. We are away at Burnley. 22, Bolton or Sheffield Wednesday. They'll face up against number 8, which is Leeds United. Number 6, Everton. They are at home. They will face up again. It's going to be Man United, isn't it? 11. No, Mansfield. Decent. That'll be a decent tie. Thanks, mate. Missed it. Went Luke. No worries, Paul. No worries at all. And number 7, Grimsby will host. They'll host Man United. Grimsby face Man United. That's a brilliant game for Grimsby, by the way. That's a brilliant game for Grimsby. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all for today. Obviously, we've been live for just over another hour and a half. Obviously, it was live last night as well. If anything happens in regards to transfers and things like that, we will be back live. Obviously, probably not today. But if something happens, you never know. But we will be live again at some point over the course of the next couple of days. Obviously, Saturday morning, we'll be doing a live stream before, obviously, I get off to the game. Hopefully, Derby County pick up 3 points in that one. And it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a good evening. Those of you who are still in here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. I love you all. Peace out. I will catch you in the next one. Thank you all once again for stopping by. I think we topped out at about 60 concurrent viewers, which is absolutely brilliant. But it's been another excellent stream. Appreciate all of you stopping by. Paul, you've been amazing. FM Frenzy, you've been amazing. Obviously, the likes of Dom, Theo, Natalie, all of you have been in here. We love you all. And I will catch you in the next one. So if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.